Cell phone silence. Good morning, everyone. Please join me in the opening congregation. Yes, Andrew, join me. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. One more time. I am opening. I am opening. Good morning, Saxy. Good morning and welcome. Let's take a deep breath together. Breathing in and exhaling, filling the lungs thoroughly, letting the air go down all the way down into the lungs, expanding the belly. Hold it at the top and then exhale fully. Breathing in love, light, peace, and joy, and exhaling the same out into the world. And here in this moment, we surrender to the luminous love light of the one, knowing that we are part and parcel of that one. We are the same love, the same peace, the same joy, the same harmony as the energy that created this phenomenal world that we get to live in and have this human experience as spiritual divine beings. And so we pause in this moment to let go of all distractions, allowing ourselves to be here fully in this moment, whether you are sitting here in this room with me or watching us remotely. We are all connected. We are all that same energy. And so right here, right now, we feel that connectedness, that energy that we are, that love and peace and joy that we are. We surrender and let go all that is not in alignment with that deep connection. All thoughts of lack and limitation, all chaos and drama, all worry, all fear. We let go of each of them, for they are contrary to who and what we are. And so we remember in this moment that we are that energy. We were from the beginning of time, and we still are and always will be.
in this place of power and strength and light. We sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, guys. Why don't we all together, let's bless these beautiful children that we have in this beautiful world. Join me. Children of light, we see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you into the path that is right for you. We see you strong and whole. We see you blessed and prospered. We see you courageous and confident. We see you as the spiritually perfect beings you truly are. Children of light, we bless you. And today's inspirational moment is from 365 Science of Mind, and the word is accomplishment. Grateful for each success and each new accomplishment, I advance to new and greater revelations of truth, knowing that the spirit within me is free. I am no longer bound by the patterns of yesterday. Freedom is made manifest through my thoughts, in my words and actions, becoming conscious of myself as I really exist in the mind of God. I find that I am walking in pathways of peace, that something within me, like a magnet, attracts that which belongs to itself. This something is love, the supreme impulsion of the universe. I know that I have no existence apart from this love as I grow in the knowledge that I am one with Spirit, I know that I will grow in the ability to use the God power within me. Thank you, Father. There is a song at the center of my being that everyone hears, a joy that everyone feels, a strength that is imparted to all. I press forward to greater accomplishment. And this is my acclamation right here. There is a song at the center of my being that everyone hears. There is a song at the center of my being that everyone hears. There is a song at the center of my being that everyone hears. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone, once again. What a glorious day, right? Yes. Sometimes I'm asleep when we're reading those that you just read. Not literally asleep, but my brain's not as fully awake as it could be. But if we really listen and tune into it, oh my gosh, it's pretty amazing, the words that are being said. So I'll wake up for next time. It's one of my favorite songs that I sing. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you
So let's just stay in that place right here. Just feeling this experience right here in this moment is God in action. God in action. Expressed straight through Robin's voice into this room, into each of our hearts. This feeling is what life's all about. That's what life's all about. You know, when the pandemic first started a year and a half ago, we were sheltering in place and we weren't going out. I started doing my meditation outside in the backyard. And I would lay on my mat and just stare up at the sky for however long I felt moved to lay there and stare at the sky. And it always impressed me, just the vastness of the sky, the fact that I'm looking up at something that never ends, that never ends. And I would watch the clouds stream by. Sometimes the sky is completely white, and I might close my eyes for a minute, open them back up, and suddenly the sky is blue, or there's big tufts of clouds streaming by, and they break up and they move and they change shape. And it reminds me of the changes that can happen at any time, how life just moves and morphs and becomes something from one moment to the next. And birds sometimes would fly overhead, and I'd hear them in the trees, and I'd hear the breeze. And every day I immersed myself in that. And every day it was something like this feeling. Something like this feeling Robin gave us. And I did that for months. I'd get up in the morning, sometimes it was still dark, and I'd watch the sun come up and just stare at that vastness and feel my place in that vastness. Feel myself sometimes as this tiny little speck in the universe, and at the same time feeling myself a part of that vastness. Like the inspiration moment talked about. You know, I think about peace all the time, whether I'm in it and feeling it, or if I've lost it completely and it feels like it's beyond my grasp, and I'm wondering how to get back there. And the work for peace, to sustain a feeling like that, is quite the endeavor. I've been working at it for a while now, earnestly. It's always been a goal of mine over the decades, but this last year, even more so. And of course, you know, be careful what you pray for, because as soon as you say you want something, the opportunities come up for you to practice that very thing. And so at least a couple of times a day, I have the opportunity to show up as peace where there doesn't feel like there's peace. To regain my footing where it feels like the rug's been pulled out from under me. To look in the eyes of someone else and want peace for them like I want peace for me, no matter who they are or where they come from, or whether I know them or not, or if they're just a a blip on my screen of life as we pass each other, whether in the car, in the store, whatever. So this feeling doesn't just have to be when we're in a situation like this. I do believe we can have this and cultivate it every single day, but man, does it take work. It takes work, and it takes diligence, and it takes focus, and it takes affirming it, and especially when you're not looking at it, when you're not perceiving it with these eyes, with our human eyes, opening ourselves up to our divine sight, divine wisdom, to ask, how do I see this differently? And in that seeing it differently, experience it differently. And that really is the only question when we're looking for peace. When we think it's not in here anymore. And it's always here because it is what we're made of. It is what we're made of. But like probably 6 months into the pandemic, I forgot about being outside, and sometimes I wanted to meditate inside. And it's different when I do it inside. The feeling was different than when I was outside, experiencing the vastness of this universe. And so I forgot about that experience. And lately I've been going back out and remembering what that is. Remembering my place in the universe. Remembering that there is something larger than me that I am a part of. You know, most of us grew up with a picture of God as something outside of us. Something outside that was kind of standing over the world, you know, with puppet strings. Handing stuff out here and there to some people, but not others. That was our paradigm. That was how we saw things. That's what we were taught. And it just makes God so very small. Makes God so very small. And in that, then we become small. Because at the same time they're telling you that, they say you're made in the image and likeness of God. And so if God is this angry, capricious, willful being that sometimes gets mad, sometimes needs to punish, sometimes withholds, sometimes makes you wait, that it's this thing with a personality, then we start to identify like that, whether we realize it or not. Whether we realize it or not. I think it's important that we remember, find a way to remember as often as we can who and what we are. And to bring about experiences like we just had, because you may already start to feel it fading away. Because it really was something that came from outside of us. And the job is to be able to remember that that is inside of you, is you. Not just inside of you, because then we're talking about having something, not being something. We don't have peace, we are peace. We don't have love, we are love. We don't have wisdom, we are wisdom. We don't have joy, we are joy. God is expressing through us as us at the same time. At the same time. I thought of St. Francis as I was meditating yesterday. I thought of that song, "Make Me an Instrument of Thy Peace." And that came from St. Francis of Assisi. who lived in the late 1100s and died somewhere around 1226. He was about 40-some years old when he passed away. It's interesting when I read about his life. He was a soldier. He fought in the war. He was imprisoned for a time. He dealt with some very serious illnesses. He broke away from his family because he was inspired to go and fix his church. And he took that very literally. And the church was kind of falling down. And so his family was very wealthy. And so he went off and sold some of his family possessions to get money to fix the church. And his father got angry and took him to court to get his money back. Wow. Yeah, wow. Talk about family drama. Took him to court. And in court, he renounced his father and all that he was to inherit. In fact, he stripped naked and he said, I don't want anything from you. The only father I have is my Father in heaven. He said, I want nothing of this. And he became what they termed on, it was Britannica.com, I was reading some of this. Became a street preacher because he wanted to live as Jesus lived. So he took a vow of poverty. And with other followers who ended up becoming monks, they traveled and they spread the word of God. Never owning a thing, never carrying anything with them. And he was told to go from place to place, and there would be people who would take care of you. And there were. Same thing. Jesus did the same thing. And he lived like that because he thought it was important to live like Jesus. Talk about being committed, right? Being committed for something. I didn't know this until I read it in that article, that he also had the experience of stigmata. The evidence of the nails in his hands and his feet, like Jesus at the crucifixion. And he was actually canonized as a saint very, very quickly. It happened, I think, within 2 years, which is very, very unusual. He's known for his love of animals and nature. They said he often talked of Father Sun and Mother Moon. He called death his sister. An experience of life was important to him. He saw God in everything. In fact, he said that nature was God's mirror, the mirror of God. He talked and preached to animals. He was the one who said, let me be an instrument of your peace. And he took that seriously. Yeah, he lived his prayer. He lived that. And that's what we're called to do, to live this thing that we are, which is God, a divine expression. But we keep forgetting, like I forgot about that experience in my backyard, a thing that fed me so deeply, and I still forgot that, man, that's where I have that experience. And then I got caught in other stuff. We forget where we come from and what we are, because we get so focused on the daily stuff. Like Robin said, sometimes we're asleep at the wheel. You know, our brains kind of shut off. We're not really paying attention. We're here, we're in our seats, we're at work, we're in the car, you know, talking to somebody, and we're not really there. We're kind of checked out. Yeah, autopilot. we're checked out. And when we're checked out, we miss this treasure of an experience, which is life. There's no dollar amount that you could place on that experience we just had when she sang that song. That was priceless.
Yes.
There is a dollar.
She said, I'll be sending an invoice. We just don't have enough money in the bank to pay it. Let's pray for her right now. And each moment of life can be like that. Each moment, but we just have to remember where we are and what we're doing here. To get off of the hamster wheel. Because once that wheel starts, you're just on it. If anybody's owned a hamster, I remember we had one when I was little, and they, had the metal wheel, and all you heard was all day. All day when he was running on it. And he's just running, going nowhere. All excited, looking at the same thing, looking out the cage, scurrying along. And we're often living the exact same way, aren't we? Phoning it in. Phoning it in. Francis of Assisi said, we can't phone it in, folks. We can't phone it in. And when you start phoning it in, you got to be willing to hang it up and say, I'm going to show up here fully in this moment and see what's in it and experience it no matter what it is and embrace it no matter what it is and no matter what it looks like. And if it's something that you don't want to experience because there's drama and other things going on, then we have the choice to change it through our consciousness, to change our experience of it. To bring something from the inside out into our experience. We have that power. We are that power. And yet we forget. Sometimes being on the wheel is easier. It is, just to stay focused on nothing. Because there's nothing to think about, nothing to do, nowhere to go, nobody to deal with. You're on the wheel by yourself. Everything else is shut out. That's your only job, is to run, stay on the wheel. And as long as nobody comes and upsets the wheel, you're good, right? There was this television show I used to watch, and one of the women on the show used to say, don't step to me lest I sin for you. So just let me be on my wheel, doing my thing. And I often feel that when I feel Spirit urging me somewhere. Look, I'm on my wheel. Scurrying along, fur flying, looking through at nothing, going nowhere, feeling nothing, doing nothing, accomplishing nothing, thinking I am in denial, This feels good. And Spirit says, come off the wheel. Come off the wheel. I got something else for you. And it's usually your soul calling, because there's nothing different between your soul and God. It's all the same thing. Come off the wheel.
Yes.
And let's have an experience together. Because I can give you something that'll raise the goosebumps on you. And I can bring you to greater experiences, to greater accomplishment. Greater accomplishment. where your God-given power is in its full brilliance. And no matter what you're doing. So you could have that experience in the grocery store, you could have it mowing the lawn, you could have it doing the dishes, you could have it taking a bath, making the bed, going to work, driving in the car, talking to somebody who used to drive you nuts, and then you decide, I don't want to do nuts anymore with this person. And you just let it go and you be something else while you're talking to them. It's all within our power, all within our power. But we got to be willing to walk and jump off the wheel. I used to think that whatever Spirit called me to was going to be hard. It wasn't hard, it was just new, most likely a little uncomfortable, because I hadn't expressed that way or done something particularly like that before. And so because I didn't know what it was, I was afraid of it. And so I just wouldn't go there. I hesitated about stepping into it because it was just foreign to me. And part of me is saying, I'm not your girl. I don't want to do this. Let me be my hamster self. And yet, every single time I've said yes, I had that experience that we just had. Every single time. Every single time. But we got to be willing to let that God power express as us. And if we're willing to do that, and when we forget, be willing to say yes again and wake up to it, then everything becomes special. Everything. Everything becomes a spiritual experience. And I'm either learning something and it becomes bigger than it is. I can't even go to the dentist anymore without some kind of experience. I mean, everything literally is an experience. Everything can become a meditation or a ritual. Something that feeds you and nurtures you, if we'll but see it like that.
Yes.
We were watching a series the other night, a mini-series on TV. Part of it was just gross, and I'm thinking, oh my God, why are we watching this? But it was just, had a beauty in it, and it ended in a way that just spoke to me. I've watched portions of that show over and over and over again because there's parts of it that just speak to me. Part of it I had to type out because it's the most beautiful thing ever. There's one woman talking about what she believes happens when we die. One of the most beautiful things I've ever heard in my life. And I thought, who wrote that? Who wrote that? Everything will become special. Because everything is special. Everything is. Because everything is an expression of the divine. Everything is. And if you're having trouble seeing it, remember, we get to say and invoke our divine essence and say, show me the beauty in this. Show me where God is in all of this. Show me how to show up as my divinity here in this moment. Show me. Answer always comes. We just don't always like the answer. And we get nervous about what people will think if we show up differently. Looking for something outside of us, concerned about what's outside of us, rather than the gift that we are. The gift that we are. So if you remember nothing else, remember that at the same time as you are this individual expression of the divine, you are that same energy that is life with a capital L. You are that special. If no one's ever said that before to you, I want you to know that and feel that. And every day when you get up and you open your eyes and the life starts to happen, remember that. Remind yourself of that. And every time you hear something or feel something that is contrary to that, remind yourself of that and then move forward. Remind yourself of that. We got to remember. We tend to forget. I imagine it's possible to throw out the proverbial hamster wheel. Maybe that's part of the human condition, that it's always there, ready for us to jump back on when we forget who we are. Or maybe we're just on it when we forget. All of a sudden it appears and you're already running. Because sometimes we don't remember. We don't remember that instant when it flips. We're just all of a sudden in drama where something happens. And then later on you think, what the heck? I was having a good day. And then such and such a thing happened. And you went from 0 to 60 without even thinking about it, without even knowing it. All of a sudden you're just at 60. Hair on fire. You wonder, what happened? What happened? I don't know, maybe that's the human condition, but I do believe that if we set an intention every single day, and every single time we have a moment to think, if we remind ourselves of who and what we are, that perhaps that hamster wheel starts to disappear, and we don't need it anymore. We don't need to retreat there anymore. We can just stay in our power. Stay in recognition of our power, because you're always in it. You just forget you're in it. It doesn't go away. It's inexhaustible. So just when you think, I can't deal with this anymore, there is more. You have more power than you ever could conceive of. And I think that's what I get laying on my mat outside, looking at the sky. It reminds me of the infinite. Find what works for you. What reminds you of the infinite with a capital I, of life with a capital L? What reminds you of that? And go there as often as you need to. And even go there when you don't need it. Because if you go when you don't need it, then when you do need it, it's there, and you don't have to search for it. And maybe you go from 0 to 20 instead of 0 to 60 next time. Or you can feel yourself going from 0 and you're like, oh, something's happening. Come right back down to peace. You can start feeling that needle creeping up. You know, when you're accelerating in the car, you see the needle going. You can feel that internally. Something's happening, heart's starting to beat a little faster, your brain's going 100 miles a minute. Sometimes you're feeling fidgety, maybe you're hot, literally or figuratively. That's when we have to remember and bring it back down to who and what you are. Who and what you are. We have that power. You are that power. It takes remembering. You forget, remember, step back into it, and remind yourself as often as you can with whatever it is that floats your boat. Let's take this into meditation. So in this moment, we affirm infinite beingness. The thing that we are that has nothing to do with the body and the physical. That has nothing to do with our five senses. The thing that is first cause of everything in our lives. That thing, that energy that was us at the beginning of creation. Millennia before we ever showed up in physical form, we existed because God existed. And that this physical life is just a blip on the cosmic screen. We are so much more than this. We are so much more than we think we are. We can achieve so much more than we think we can achieve. We can love so much more than we think we can love. Let's be together in the silence to hear whatever it is that we need to hear in our heart of hearts. Let's take a deep breath in together. Hold it at the top, affirming life and love, and exhaling. Inhale again. Exhale. We say yes and thank you to life. Yes and thank you to life. So it is, and so it shall be. Amen. So in this moment, let's lift the names of those for whom we want to pray. For Cheryl. For all those who are incarcerated. For Danielle and Tony and Davion. The Andrews and Pitts families. For Patricia. Stephanie and Ezra. Reba and Eddie, for Joan and Debbie,
For Angel.
for Cynthia, for all these that we have named.
I want to pray for myself so that whenever I'm anywhere and my father asks me to stand up for him, whether it be a beautiful song or in any type of gathering that I am, that I just stand up strong and represent my father.
And for also all those who are unnamed in this moment, but who are in our hearts and minds. We know that they are whole, perfect, and complete. Divine beings have a human experience with infinite divine power. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. From the same place of peace and power, we now affirm our celebration of giving. Together, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is.
So Kim and I are going to share a song that I wrote last week or the week before.
Nice.
Be the peace you want to see. Share your peace with everyone you meet. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with you. Be the joy you want to see. Share your joy with everyone you meet. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with you. Be the love you want to see, and share your joy with everyone you meet. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with you. Be the peace, be the joy, be the love, and let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin with you and me. There it is again.
That's the first time it's been performed. Kim got to.
Yeah, I got to sing it. Oh, wow. Goosebumps, goosebumps, goosebumps.
Is that when Bryce was too?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Now there's my fee on top of it. you know. Let's bless our tithes and offerings. We are so deeply grateful for all the time, treasure, and talent, the blessed souls that come here and make this beloved community what it is, a place of peace, love, joy, and harmony and prosperity. And that message is sent out into the world through each of us, and let it begin. And so it is, and so it shall be. Just a couple of announcements. So a week coming up this Saturday, Lainey Bernstein is our guest artist at our second Saturday's concert. You're not going to want to miss it. Kent Ellingson, who is her pianist, is wonderful. So I've heard him play at the Church of One Love, and just very, very gifted pianist. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful night. We'll see you at 7 p.m. this coming Saturday. Get your tickets. You can buy them here. And bring a friend. Let's share this experience together. We'll have snacks if you want to have snacks, and great times, good people, wonderful, wonderful music. So Lainey's one of our favorites, so let's support her and let her, I told you, it's on fire when they come. We get a little inkling when they're here on Sunday mornings, but yeah, she's going to be on fire. So upcoming soon, so sometime in October, we are going to send out the bylaws. We've revised them. Jan Collins, thank you very much for your help in helping me to revise those bylaws. So the voting membership, actually everyone, you can come and we'll have a special meeting. We'll send these out so you'll see the old bylaws and the new bylaws as revised, and you can compare them. And then we'll come together for a special meeting where the voting members can vote on it and we can formally adopt them. With any changes that we come up with, if any. So this meeting is for your questions, your concerns, whatever it is you want to talk about regarding that, but you'll have all the documentation to look at home. You'll have at least 3 weeks to be able to look at that and look, because it's quite extensive, and you'll be able to see where the changes were made. So anyone can come and ask questions, but only voting members. So if you have a certificate and you actually join the church and say, I want to be part of this officially, can vote on the bylaws. But everybody can be a part of the meeting and ask questions. So we'll have all the details out, but know that it's coming. We haven't had a membership Sunday in a long time, so our next one is going to be October 17. So voting members can vote at any membership and special meeting. You can vote for nominees to the Board of Trustees. Vote on any individual capital expenditures that the board may bring to the membership. Nominate and vote on members of the nominating team. Call a special membership meeting when warranted. You can vote for the removal of any trustee. You can vote on any matters officially presented to the membership. Offer suggestions to spiritual leader and board. Anybody can actually offer a suggestion. And then you can also inspect the minutes, financial statements, and other organizational documents. And those are open to everybody, not just voting members. So if you ever want to see the financials, you're welcome to see them. And we actually have them posted on the bulletin board as well. So every month we put up the new financials for you to see how we're doing. So that's what membership entails. We always say when you walk through those doors, you belong to the family. And if you choose to become an official member, you can. Fred, anything? Oh, there's always something. Why do I ask? Father, help us.
I know. There was a call that came in to the church secretary, and the guy said, listen, I want to speak to the head hog at the trough. And she was embarrassed. She said, are you talking about our minister? And he goes, yes, I want to speak to the head hog at the trough. She said, well, if you want to speak to him, you're going to have to call him pastor. You can't call him the head hog at the trough. And he said, well, I was thinking about making a $10,000 donation to the church. She said, just a second. Porky just walked in. as those of you may know, I told you last week that it was finished, but like Christmas, when you're fixing to open presents, you go, oh my goodness, I forgot X, or I forgot them. And you go to a closet like we have in our house, and you have special things for people you forgot. Well, we are going to extend the closing of the brick project 2 more weeks. If you'll get your request in to either Kim or fill out a sheet if you're here, then we will include you in the next and the last installation for this year. And the reason that we have this deadline is because we're going to have a professional photographer take a picture of the project in its finished state. And we don't want to leave your special brick out of that. So I'd like to have the orders in the next couple of weeks, and then that'll give us about 3 weeks, and we'll probably have them installed sometime in November before the weather turns bad. So this is just, it won't cost you anything, just fill out a sheet. If it's military, first responder, we just need their name, their rank, and what city they work for, what military branch they're in. If they're a first responder, we just need their name, their rank, and who they work, what city they work for. And so get those to me as quickly as we can, and we'll put that order in. Okay? Thank you.
Just one more thing I want to say about the membership. If you're not a voting member and you would like to be, please let me know, and that way I can have your certificate ready for you on the 17th when we have our ceremony and officially welcome you to the ranks of voting membership, okay? Mission and vision.
All right. That may get that done. Oh, I'll tell you what, I just love this place more and more and more and more. And mucho más. And mucho más.
Mucho más.
Okay. All right, let's do our mission and vision. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teachings and demonstrations of unity principles towards the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now, and everything is always working out for us. Woo!
Let's sing the last congregational. And you can stand if you like. If you want to stand, you can. And you don't have to. In this moment, in this place, I see God in every face. Perfect love when we gather round, standing here on the holy ground. Grateful that we are together. Grateful all that we are. Grateful that we are together. Grateful for the love and the joy that we share. So hold this moment, hold this space. We are held in perfect grace. Being together side by side. Feel the love of flooding over. Grateful that we are together. Grateful for all that we are. Grateful that we are together. Grateful for the love and the joy that we share. We are grateful. We are grateful. We are
Thank you very much for sharing your time with us this morning. You are the love that makes this place so very, very special. Have a glorious day, a glorious week. Namaste.
Namaste.